another episode of Primetime Muscle. We are so happy to have you with us, Tim Wilkins, Tarek El-Guindi.
Thank you, Tim. I love the pink tie. You and I have daughters, so it's very nice. I'm disappointed that Chris Cormier tried to copy my gray charcoal suit.
Chris, I don't.
How you doing, buddy? How you doing? You doing good?
I'm doing good.
Good. Happy to be here. Happy to see you guys again. Holding that cardio. Good. Doing it.
You both look very nice. You look in charcoal suits. I feel like you're henchmen. Like I feel like a mafia guy.
I feel stuffy though. I don't look stuffy.
No, you don't look stuffy.
Y'all think I look stuffy in this?
You mean spiffy?
Stuffed up? I look like
a stuffed turkey.
Something.
No, you look good.
Okay.
Move your neck a little bit. Let's see the movement.
Oh yeah, it's good.
That's good. Yeah.
It's not easy. 19 and a half, 20. What are we sticking in that shirt?
About 19 and a half.
Yeah,
that was a 20 and a half before.
That's a lot to put in a shirt. You're good. All right. Speaking of a lot to put in shirts, there are some competitors that are. We're always looking at that next crop and what guys are made of. And we've talked about this young athlete before. I emceed 2 years ago, I want to say, up in Virginia for Carlos Thomas Jr. on his very, very resounding win. And now there's a lot of talk that he is the next big thing.
Okay. Let's forget about everything in the past. Let's forget about anything else, and let's just look.
Let's just forget about anything else, and let's just look.
Look at this physique. Let's suppose you don't know this guy. Stop laughing.
Did I snort?
You did snort.
Sorry.
If you look at this physique, you've never seen this bodybuilder before. You don't know his name. And all of a sudden, this guy appeared on the map. You would think, holy crap, who the hell is this? And the first thing that we notice is this, Tim Wilkins. Look at this tiny little waist.
Oh, yes.
With those humongous quads, okay? Huge quads with a small waist. He's got big arms. There was talk about this guy as like potential Mr. Olympia. His name is Carlos Thomas Jr. He's the national champion. And I don't know if he's potential Mr. Olympia, but his genetics speak very high.
Oh, yes. Carlos, he is definitely part of the future of the sport. And just getting to know him over the years, when he was an amateur, I would talk to him at the Arnold Classic. Him and his dad would be there, and just grown fond of both of them as a close knit father and son duo. That he's 100% supportive of him. I gotta say, this might be a little Photoshop because I see the bricks are imbalanced right here. Do you guys see that?
I think Chris.
I'm messing around. No, let's shout out to the guru. That's the homeboy that be doing all that. This is Photoshop, you see it?
These are different pictures.
Don't do it in front of.
Right?
I know.
Right.
It was a shout out. No, but anyway, yeah, he's
We're all gonna get fired, bro.
This is not.
This is our last show.
This is not a tested show, by the way.
Yeah,
ahead,
exactly. So anyway. No, but the girth, the size, I mean, the side of his legs, all this stuff is going to contend with, so many, stop smiling, it's going to contend with all these guys. This is the future here of bodybuilding. And I think with some more details, if he can get a chance to detail his physique out more, because don't try to keep going for size and size and size and size. Get more detailed and just bring that body in. And I think that you're going to see this guy dealing with a lot of competitors in the future. Like he's a major competitor.
Now, Tarek, kind of pick him apart as a judge and say, all right, it's hard. He's not in his prime stage condition right there. He's pretty close, but he looks great. And there's no one standing next to him, and you only judge who's next to you. But when someone sends you and says, hey, I need my feedback, they don't send the whole stage. They send, front, back, side, and say, where am I deficient? Where am I good?
Sometimes they send pictures that only they look good.
Yes. Well,
They don't send the back shot, and then you ask on the feedback, can I have the back shot? And then they go, oh, I don't have that. Well, that's exactly what you needed to improve.
That's why
so
you don't
send
have
me
one.
that goddamn picture. I know you have it. Don't just send me the pictures you look good. Okay, Antonio?
so what you're going to get is you're going to get the front shot from the show and the back shot from the perfect lighting at the LA Fitness bathroom. The one that's got the lockers next to it with that dream lighting that comes over the top.
Right, they only send good pictures. Here's the deal.
What's the deal?
Carlos Thomas Jr. is beginning his career. This guy will be at the Mr. Olympia for years to come. What is the most interesting thing for me to evaluate is, in the beginning of his career, does he look more impressive than Nick Walker? Yes. Does he look more impressive than Derek Lunsford? I would call it a tie. Does he look more impressive than Samson Dauda? Yes, even though Samson Dauda had a huge improvement. What we are seeing here in the beginning of a career, of a bodybuilding career, is a lot of muscle, is a small waist. Does he have a flaw? Yes, he does. His flaw is back double biceps. He needs to have more detail, more thickness, and more width. Other than that, this guy is borderline a phenom.
Chris.
Yes.
Competitors. When Chris talks about detail and you think size, those are kind of one and the same. You've got to build detail, but just not, deadlifty mass. You've got to do those fine tunes. As you're picking apart the quads and thinking about his back double bi, kind of give Carlos and the competitors out there some kind of idea on how to bring in those fine lines.
Well, it's not going to come from the dinner table. It's not like I want to get big, I want to get whatever, so they go to eating a bunch of food. It's not about that. It's about the work you put in the gym. And when you do the work in the gym, you have to take the back and pick the exercises, the bent over row, the pull downs, the undergrip pulley stuff. All this stuff is going to build your physique in a way to where you can channel and pinpoint different areas that you want to work on to improve, and just keep critiquing yourself and stay lean enough in the off season so you can critique yourself properly, not just be a big blob of flesh and you don't know what's under there. And when you go to compete, I don't have any teres majors or minors. I don't have any the middle of my trapezius is weak and thin. I don't have the separation down the middle of my back. I don't have that. But if you're lean enough in all season, then you can pinpoint and design your physique the way you want it.
So as a judge, you're attending probably more shows than both of us. I'm emceeing about 12 shows a year. You're emceeing about 20, or you're judging about 20 to 25. I just don't feel like we're seeing the out-of-shape guest poser anymore. The guy that comes out that's about 50 pounds overweight, he's got the edema, you can stick your thumb in, hits two poses. A lot of these guys are staying closer to stage weight, it seems to me. They're blowing up, but they're not getting out of sorts.
Unfortunately, we've had traumatic experiences when it comes to guest posing. And unfortunately, it comes to mind Sean Roden at the Pittsburgh Pro, where he was highly criticized on that guest posing.
It takes a lot of time off. He was taking a lot of time off.
He wasn't at his best shape. He had just come off of a great Olympia victory, and Sean was a very sensitive guy. He wanted to be there. He knew he wasn't in shape, but he wanted to go there and support. And I think he did a good job, but his physique was very criticized.
But at the Pittsburgh, Jim Mannion have the top 8 guys in the world, and they all want to impress the champ.
They all want to, showcase. And I think a lot of the bodybuilders now going to guest pose in Pittsburgh, going to do these guest poses around the country, they have that in mind. They live through it, right? Derek Lunsford, Nick Walker. You know, some of those guys were on stage with Sean Roden. He was heavily criticized, you know, and it impacted him a little bit. And after that, everything went downhill, unfortunately. He was one of my best friends in the bodybuilding industry. But it was hard to protect him at that point because some of the other guys were in shape. And I think right now, guys, they think about it, they go, man, with the internet, I can't afford to do anything like that.
I think that's the game changer too, guys, is that feedback is instant. Guess who's holding more water than a water buffalo? Goes around, hashtag water buffalo is brutal.
And sometimes these guys are not in the best shape themselves, but they're couch coaches. So you're on the couch and you coaching them up on the Instagram, and that's right now.
They got us
real
some
time.
Those guys, a lot of, and I don't mean bodybuilding fans. We have about 90% great bodybuilding fans. Man, I get surprised on the comments how well these people know bodybuilding. But sometimes you have the trolls. They got subscriptions to every porn channel. They buy NFTs for a living, you know what I mean?
The trolls, the heavy trolls.
You know, the DoorDash guys just goes, man, are you ordering again? You know what I mean?
Mom, my DoorDash
They got peanuts on their shirts, okay? The lotion is on the right side of the bed, the right side of the table, and the phone is on the left. You know, the guy is clumsy, and then he just types in, oh, that guy is fat as F, you know what I mean? Shut the hell up. You're 10 times worse than he is.
Well, we're excited about the future of Carlos Thomas Jr. in the sport. Let us know what you think. If you've seen him at a show, you're looking forward to seeing how his physique develops, you let us know. Like, comment, share as always. And when we come back, we'll talk about another one who's a bit more of a rising star than many others. He's a top 5 contender this year at the Olympia. We come back on Primetime Muscle. All right, we're back on Primetime Muscle. One of the big favorites, one of the guys that has made some huge improvements, Hunter Labrada. Hunter. Now, we talked a lot about, we do a lot of postmortem. You know, it's like any other sport. We lead up to our Super Bowl. We talk about our Super Bowl for a few months after. Our Super Bowl is the Olympia. That's our big show. That's our World Series. That's our NBA championship. Last year at the Olympia, Hunter did not... He wasn't the Hunter that we thought would have improved year over year. And let's talk about, well, guys, let's kind of pick apart from side to side where the improvements could have been made, and then we'll look at some improvements.
First of all, Hunter Labrada, prior to this presentation, placed 4th at the Mr. Olympia in 2021. He placed ahead of Nick Walker. He was the guy out of all the young guys going in and attacking. You know, there was that final call out. Brandon Curry, Hunter Labrada, Big Ramy, and Hadi Choopan. 2022 comes, high expectations. We're scrutinizing. His last name is Labrada, which is a symbol of excellence. He's not conditioned. He's holding water. The abs are washed out. You can see he's not confident on stage. There's no separation. He's sweating. It is a disappointment. In addition to that, the back shot, which was probably his only weakness in 2021, did not show enough improvement in 2022. So you not only did not improve as much as you should have, you were holding a little bit of water, you were not conditioned, posing was not great, you fell to 7th place, which is not bad placing at the Olympia. But one of the best things about this guy is this. Right after the Olympia, he was the first one to say, and I love guys like that, hey, I messed up. I wasn't at my best. I'm telling everybody right now, there's no excuses. I did not look good. I take full accountability. So I give him a lot of credit because his physique might not have displayed his best, but his spirit displayed his best.
So, Chris,
yes.
All right, there's your lat spread over your shoulder there.
Yes.
One of the many places that we said, all right, Hunter, if you want to stay in that top 5 or move up, you got to make some improvements. What other places did you say in 2022 he's going to have to step up hard for 23.
I would like to see more abs. I mean, I see Hunter doing a lot of training videos. I hardly see any ab training videos, Hunter. Hardly ever, if not ever. But more attention to the back, and I know you've been doing it. I know you've been doing a great job with that. You're getting good guidance in that area and getting good training in that area. You got a nice team around you. Improving the conditioning was a major factor, but the abs and the back, I thought, was where he really needs to work on. The side tricep is a staple. That shot is a staple. But more and more abs, like you can't have all these bells and whistles going on in your body and not have strong abs to support all of that.
That's the other thing. If you're going to be doing all these strength and power moves, you got to have some core. Well, this is another thing, guys, that I've always had a big respect for. But it was Friday night. You got to hold at this level. Prejudges on Friday night, big shows on Saturday night, and the scoring is separate. They are two different score sheets. It's not like an NPC show where the scoring's in the morning and here's your trophy. And maybe if it's that drastic when you walk out, the judges will go, let's rejudge this.
Confirmation round.
Confirmation round. So these guys come out, and last year, he's just pouring water. But Hunter was it wasn't a matter of my tan is running. He's just pouring water.
A lot of times when you go to compete and let's say you're not in the condition you want to be exactly yet, but you know you have the carb up, there's a carb up, period. But if you're not as tight as you need to be and you start to put carbs in your system, the glycogen storage is going to get to its limit, and then it's going to spill over. That's what they call spilling over. And that's what you've seen here. And I've done the same thing. One time I got in shape, and I just got to where I was looking good the week of, and I made a big mistake in carbing up way too much, and it held for a little bit. I pumped it backstage. It was very good. Still, okay. As soon as I got on stage with the hot lights and everything, floodgates are open. It was people, taking breaks, getting water underneath my elbow. And it was just like, it was crazy. I was not happy. I was pissed.
And you judges, are you guys looking at that? Not only are they just pouring water, but when they start posing and you start working them and doing the turns and they're gassed, is there anything in your head going, this guy didn't come in shape?
Yeah, you have to perform. You got to hold the poses. You cannot shake. If you can't hold the poses because your heart conditioning is not good, you have not practiced, then obviously you're not being as good as somebody who practiced. If you're dripping water, it starts getting blurry, your physique. You can't see the separation anymore. The tanning gets all messy. So bodybuilding is a science. You gotta be dry, you gotta pose well. Now, I know we've been scrutinizing Hunter Labrada. We have, and deservingly so.
So
he did not fulfill his expectations. Now
that was then. Now we fast forward to 2023, where he's got to this year, having placed 7th last year, he's got to requalify, that's got to be a kick in the teeth. You go, I was 4th last year. Come on. So he's got to requalify. I saw him guest pose at the Labrada Classic and Lee's show, which is always amazing. And, what better way to get a cheap guest pose than have your son come out? But he was 2 weeks out from Tampa Pro, and he came out, and I just jaw-dropping. I said, that is a different athlete. That is a different athlete. So, guys, what did we see at Tampa where he had that dominant performance?
Big time changes in first of all, his conditioning. Big improvement, massive improvement in the conditioning. The back double bicep, better than has ever been in his life. I think he's catching his stride now. Pulling back, he's got the striations going across the lats. The Christmas tree is in. I can just see that improvement and more as we get closer to the Olympia here, and I still would like to see more in the ab department.
Very good point. Now, Tarek, you talked about conditioning and you talked about back on him especially. What did you see at Tampa Pro?
That's exactly what we wanted to see at the 2022 Mr. Olympia. And he probably would have been easy on the top 5 if he displayed his physique. from Tampa at the Olympia. Funny enough, we did a live on Olympia TV. Subscribe to Olympia TV right now. Otherwise, your life is going to be miserable. We did a live on Olympia TV, myself, Flex Wheeler, and Bob Ciccarello. And Hunter was very honest. He said, if I'm conditioned, I'm top 5. If I'm out of shape, I'll be top 10. And you love this guy's self-analysis. He's right on the money. When he doesn't do well, he's the first one to say it. He knows his physique. He knows his potential. His potential is huge. And I'm going to add the fact that out of all the guys, including Derek Lunsford, he is a hybrid. He has a small waist, and he can carry a lot of muscle. He can actually be one of the few guys on the lineup that can expose Derek Lunsford. Because despite the fact that Derek Lunsford is very wide, Hunter is just as wide, maybe a little bit less, but he has a smaller waist than Derek Lunsford. So Hunter could be the kryptonite for Derek Lunsford. If he continues to improve, like Chris said, the back double biceps. If he continues to come in condition, the legs look massive. If you disagree, go ahead. Don't make that dumb face.
I do disagree with
Chris?
you. Wholeheartedly disagree with you, Tarek, in so many ways. Let me count the ways. That was pretty good. Let me count the ways. You get that? Y'all feeling me? Y'all feeling me on that? So, Derek Lunsford's front double bicep ratio with his waist to shoulder ratio is way different than Labrada's. You're wrong there. And did you mean in the lineup or on the lineup?
I meant in the lineup. What I'm going to educate you. What I'm going to educate you. Okay. What I'm going to educate you.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm going to educate you is this.
Do that.
The ratio comes from the fact that one has large clavicle bones, and then here it comes down to the waist.
But you said his waist is small.
Well, just come down. The education comes in a few seconds.
Okay.
If somebody has a smaller clavicle bone, but the waist is even smaller than the other guy's waist, that ratio might be more prominent. We're not talking about exact measurements. Derek Lunsford is wider, and here comes a very nice V-taper to the waist. Hunter Labrada is not as wide as Derek Lunsford, but because he has a smaller waist, the ratio might be more dramatic. You're welcome, Chris. So write it down. Why don't you write it down?
When you talk about the lineup,
put the camera on him as he gets his education.
Here's the gut punch, guys, and I just got to say it, and not as a representative of the Olympia, as someone who's just quoting Hunter Labrada. If you say if I'm one of the guys, it's just an honor to be on that Olympia stage. If I'm 11 through 27, or as it is 11 through tied for 16th, and Hunter's saying if I'm in shape, I'll be top 5. If I'm out of shape, I'll be top 10. And I'm a guy placing 14th or 22nd or 23rd. How out of shape or small? It is such an amazing difference between you're a good competitor, you're a great national competitor.
Well, that's when I go back to the Pinto and the Ferrari. He is a Ferrari.
Man, Dennis is next door. He's going to come and beat the crap out of you.
Are Pintos is why he can still place in the top 10 and be out of shape.
And that's the crazy thing is what I'm trying to say is when you look at the difference between a good competitor and a great national competitor, a good pro and a top-tier pro, you're going from Pintos to Lamborghinis, Ferraris to Bugattis. There's some minuscule... The Cormier. And there's some minuscule differences that make you that top tier. What a gut punch that is.
I need a disclosure here. Nico, can I do a quick disclosure? Okay. Dennis the Menace, Dennis James, a great bodybuilder. He does not like this Pinto story. And what I want to say
I didn't even say anything about him.
I'm completely out of it, okay, Dennis? I have nothing to do with this. This is between you
He
and
know
Chris
it's
Cormier.
all love.
You've never been
He
a
know it's
Pinto
all-
to me.
He know
To
it's
me,
all
you were a
love.
Lamborghini and Chris was a Ferrari. I have nothing to do with this.
I got to wrap this segment, Tarek, but I got to say, if you weren't a bodybuilding judge, a promoter, or a sportscaster for the beautiful Primetime Muscle, I have a great career for you. Bus driver, because you've driven us under the bus more
Under
times.
the bus.
Man, he's good.
Under
All
the
right,
bus.
we'll be back with more Primetime Muscles. We talk about another one on the verge of greatness in the world of the Olympia when we come back.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on Trifecta.
And we're back on Primetime Muscle, guys. Again, one of my favorite things is the press conference before the Olympia. It's usually the Wednesday or the Thursday. I love the excitement of the rivalries and the people and the trash talk and all that kind of stuff. Last year was one of the first years I took my wife. She loved it. Of course, she only went to see C-Bum, but she went to see C-Bum. That's all C-Bum. She wants me to grow a mustache. Not happening. But last year, one of the guys that blew her mind when he came out was Andrew Jacked. She grabs my arm and starts squeezing. Goes, that guy's huge.
Andrew Jacked is a freaking human statue. His genetics, his posing, he is incredible. He calls himself the Mona Lisa of bodybuilding. This is a human statue of a man, okay? Let's talk about his potential. He has the genetics, and this is not an if or a maybe. He has the genetics to be Mr. Olympia, Andrew Jacked. When you look at him backstage or on stage, you are seeing something special. He has the space, especially on the back double biceps, to become a Joe Stubbs. Okay, that's a reference. Chris wouldn't mention that. One thing that Andrew Jacked needs is, you see the hamstrings right here? We need a little bit more hamstrings, and we need more cuts. There seems to be a slight film of water on this physique, meaning that if this guy gets dry, we'll see deeper separation. Look at the obliques. They are not deep. So this is 2022. He has shown improvement, but at the Olympia, I need to see this guy ripped to the bone.
Chris, when we talk about legs and hamstrings, at 6'1", 6'2", how much harder is it for him to build a sweeping, drooping hamstring than someone 5'6", 5'7"?
Way harder, Tim. Way harder. With the length of his legs, we saw when he tried to go extra hard in conditioning at the Arnold Classic, we saw the legs lean out also. It wasn't so thick like it was at the Texas the previous year. So that's the previous competition. So that's where he's going to have to be very careful when it comes to choosing what type of look he's going to go for. And can we have some more cuts in the hamstrings? Maybe. That's my...
First of all, you imitate me one more time, and I'll beat the crap out of you.
I just said maybe.
You imitate me one more time.
I just said maybe.
I will beat the crap out of you
maybe.
on television.
So, and
let me finish.
The last time we saw him really shredded up was the Arnold Classic, and I want to point out, we did a live hit with you, the three of us, after the Arnold Classic for Primetime Muscle. And Chris did, I think it was the last time you did cardio. Chris ran from the Arnold Classic to his host hotel.
Yes.
And it was not attached to the venue.
No.
And you got there in time for the live.
Yes.
Yes, to give us full report. So,
Man.
Get back to Andrew Jacked. We know he needs legs. And we know that's the thing that's going to balance out this massive upper body.
Yes, if he has legs, he is a great pose. If he has legs and his back double biceps gets a little bit more width, and a little bit more detail, thickness, a little bit more Mohammed bin Aziza in there. If Samson Dauda was not on the map as a tall, aesthetically pleasing physique bodybuilder, if Samson Dauda was not on the map, everybody would be talking about this guy. Samson Dauda messed up for Andrew Jacked. He took the sail out of Andrew Jacked.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think the same, but we do know that in that area of the traps, the chest, the abs, the shoulder to shoulder, that's just granite. That's his strength. Even here on the side chest, side tricep, you see that mass with the traps, the shoulders, the chest. That's his strength. The weakness is going to be in the legs. The weakness is going to be down here. I want to see separation in the calves, Andrew. I want to see a nice split down the middle of the calves. I don't see it. I want to see this, and this will put you over the top. I want to see the mass on this back.
So
right here, there's not a lot of mass on that back of a bicep. You got to have it.
that was 2022. It's easy for us to look in hindsight.
Yes.
There are pictures. There are pictures now of the work he has put in to put quality mass on that physique, fix his balance, fix the quads, which that's a lot. That's a long way to squat.
Yeah, he's got some striations showing, but he has improved since this photo, and we're seeing more and more of this guy getting better and better, and he has the potential to bring home the #1 spot in the world.
Genetically speaking, top 2 or top 3 in the world right now in terms of genetics. I find it interesting that he kind of showed up to the game, before Samson Dauda. Samson was like fighting to get a show here in Europe. He won the show in Poland or in Prague. But before, people were just talking about Andrew Jacked. And since Samson Dauda's success, it's taking a little bit of the attention of Andrew Jacked. I mean, taking consideration that if Samson Dauda is not at the Arnold Classic, Andrew Jacked would be second place, and everybody would be talking about him. Samson Dauda took the air out of Andrew Jack's sail. Now, Andrew needs to come after Samson Dauda.
Guys, any idea? We're talking about just mass and weight on top of aesthetics, because Samson's aesthetics are beautiful. Samson's sitting around 320, 325 right now. His coach keeps putting it in kilos, so I can't keep up. He's 142 or whatever that silliness is. Come on, man. English
Put it
measure.
in pounds.
English measure.
Are you bad-mouthing Milos Sarcev, one of the greatest the men? Is he your buddy in
That's
the
my buddy.
podcast?
But Milos is
and we compete against each other many times.
Tim Wilkins
He
on blast
beat
in
me
the
at the
show?
Night of Champions. No, I beat him at the Night of
I
Champions.
am such a huge Milos fan. For 30 years, I'm a
You
Milos
didn't
fan.
even mention his name. You said his coach.
His coach.
Put him on blast on the Menace podcast.
His name is Milos Sarcev.
Sarcev.
We used to call him Misko. But it's
Actually,
Milos.
let me pronounce this properly. Milos Sarcev. Milos Sarcev.
Sarcev.
Galindo. So, but what is Andrew Jack tipping in at now?
I think he's a little bit more streamlined than Samson Dauda. Samson has a little bit more density. I think Andrew Jack is about 300, 310. Now, we can't tell their weight when they go on stage. Hadi Choopan probably never went over 300. So,
no.
and Craig Kovacs and Marcos Rule, they were
What'd you say?
well over.
Greg Kovacs.
I thought you said Craig.
Yeah.
I said Greg.
Yeah, the
I
Rambler.
said Greg Kovacs.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't ever try to correct me. Okay. Greg Kovacs and Marcus Rule, they were well over
I'll let you get away
300.
with some
They never
bullshit.
got top 5 at the Olympia.
Marcus was too blocky. The only one I can remember in a long time that went over 3 bills that looked that good was Gunter. Gunter had a beautiful package at 310 to 325. His last Olympia was 325. He came to one of my comedy shows at 295, 300, and I said, "What are you hitting stage at, Gunter?" He said, 325. I said, "Who goes up before a show? Who does that? I thought he'd be cutting down to 270.
Gunter got all Chris money from the contracts, right, Chris? You should have
Yes,
gotten that
that was
money.
my, that was my
Gunter?
contract.
Yeah,
Gunther.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
That was my contract.
that was your contract.
Gunther.
He took all your money.
Too soon? I'm sorry.
It was too soon.
Well, Andrew
brought
Jack
it up.
has a big future. Big future. And people love him. He's another one of those guys, big, bright smile, lights up the stage. People love that guy.
And he does the splits. Many people say he does the splits better than anybody. I said that on Olympia Live, and
Flex Wheeler.
Chris Cormier's brother, Flex Wheeler, got upset with me.
Flex Wheeler.
You know, he
The
said
originator.
my splits
No
were
one
10 times
greater.
better than Andrew Jack.
No one greater.
Who had better splits?
Flex did.
Flex?
100%.
Okay, was
And
it
so
easy?
what is the story behind the Super Bowl ring, though?
That is my-
Are there a secret society that you in?
That's an IFBB Pro League
That's what I
ring
mean.
right there. I am
Did you get
officially-
made?
I got made.
You got made.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Where did you get that?
I can't tell you. I have to kill you. It's a very special ring.
We need you for the show.
Feel how heavy this thing is, Chris.
Man, you're the secret
Is that a
society,
New York Pro
dude.
ring?
That is IFBB Pro League. When you're
Get a
married,
little close up on
when
that,
you're married
man.
to bodybuilding the way I am, that was my. I got jumped in. Have you been jumped in yet?
No.
Oh, it's
You
lovely.
never been jumped in?
Yeah, I got jumped in.
Oh, man. Don't fit my
Yeah.
pinky, but
I had
there you
to,
go. There you go.
I had to take out a couple other MCs to get that ring. Yeah.
Okay.
Check this thing out, man. Does it come off? Oh, I just lost a ring.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go. It doesn't fit in your pinky. Check that thing out. All right, we got the one and only Olympia weekend coming up, the absolute pinnacle of our sport at every level. We are so excited to see what all these great
Man.
bodybuilders can do.
been
You
a
excited?
long year. Hell yeah,
It's
it's been a long year. And, man, I just cannot wait to see the guys put up or shut up.
It's going to be easy. I love people coming from all over the world, meet them, see their favorite athletes.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, one of the greatest parts is also for the fans, meet the Olympians.
It's one of my best experiences at the Olympia is meet the Olympians, because it's one of the few times that the fans get actual contact with their superstars, with their athletes, and you can just see the excitement they have once they get to take a picture. And that's what's really all about. When you see the fans happy and you work for the organization, you know you're doing a good job.
It's great, man. I just love to see, like you said, the fans' faces, and they've been waiting all year just as we all have. And, the whole thing that goes behind it, the production crew, seeing everybody back, there.
Tim Wilkins, as always, like, share, subscribe. Join us every week on
Kiss ass.
Prime Time Hustle. We'll see you next time.